Good morning, learners. Welcome to another math-terrific episode here in Valenzuela Live. Once again, I'm your teacher Precious from Pio Valenzuela Elementary School, your FB math teacher for this day. To actively participate in our discussion, kindly do the following. First, type in your complete name, grade and section, your school, and your subject teacher for attendance. Second, if you have questions and if you want to answer in our discussion, kindly uh, type in your answer on the comment box below. Well, we are now on the last week of the second quarter, and this is still based on our MELC, or the most essential learning competencies. And we are here to learn how to solve non-routine and routine problems involving basic operations of integers using appropriate strategies and tools. Well, before we begin with our discussion for this day, I would like to check if you still remember the previous lesson in our FB Live. So I have your activity number 1, and you are going to find the sum, the difference, the product, or the quotient, and you're going to type in your answers on the comment box below. So let's start. For the first one, we have negative 4 plus negative 4. So in this number, we are going to find the sum. And if your answer is negative 8, then you are correct. How about for the second one? For the second one, we have negative 4 minus positive 2. So we are going to get, or you are going to find the difference. If your answer is negative 6, then you are also correct. Next, the third one, we have negative 12 times positive 1. So you are going to get the product in this number. And if your answer is negative 12, you are correct again. Next, how about the fourth one? So we have negative 10 minus negative 3. So we have, okay, if your answer is negative 7, then you are correct again. How about for the last one? We have negative 36 divided by positive 3. Well, in this number, we are going to get the quotient. And if your answer is negative 6, well, you are correct. Well, I guess you all deserve a slow clap. We are going to have a slow clap for you because you still remember the previous topic in our FB Live. Well, let's proceed with our topic. So I have here problems, and we are going to solve each one of them, and we are going to use different tools which is appropriate for a certain problem. Let's have this one. Okay? So I have here a problem, and it says there are 18 animals in a pet store. Some are birds and some are dogs. There are 60 legs in all. How many birds and how many dogs are there? So we need to find out the exact number of dogs and the birds in that pet store. Well, for me, I'm going to use the table in this problem. Okay? So I have here the table, and I'm going to explain how do I get those numbers. So I'm going to reveal the number for each table, for each row and column. Okay? Okay. So for my solution, for the first one, I assume that there are 18 dogs and then 0 number of birds. And then, since the dogs, or each dogs have 4 legs, I multiply it by 18. That's why I get the number of legs, which is 72. Well, that is far from the original number of legs in our problem, which is 60. Next, how about if I try 1 bird and then 17 dogs? So I have 17 times 4 is 68, and 2 times 1, Mom, where did you get the 2? Well, each bird consists or has 2 legs. That's why I have 2 times 1 is 2. And then if I'm going to get the sum of both legs for the dogs and birds, I have 68 and 2, and the total is 70. Well, it is 10 larger than the total. Next, how about if I try 2 birds and then 16 dogs? So I'm going to multiply 16 times 4, and it will give me 64, and then 2 times 2 will give us 4. And if I'm going to add the product, I will get 64 plus 4, it will become 68. Still far from our total number of legs. Next, how about if I try 3 birds and 15 dogs? So I have 15 times 4 is 60, and then 3 times 2 will give me 6. And getting the total, we have 60 plus 6. It will give us a sum of 66. Still far from the original, or from the total number of legs. Next, how about if I try 4? So 4 and 14. So we have 14 times 4, and it will give me 56. And 4 times 2, it will give me 8. Getting the total of these two, we have 56 plus 8. It will give me 64. How about if I try 5 number of birds and 13 number of dogs? So we have 13 times 4 is 52, and 5 times 3 is 5 times 2 rather is 10. If I'm going to add this, we have 52 plus 10 is 62. Next one. How about if I tried 6 number of birds and 12 number of dogs? So I'm going to multiply 12 and 4, I will get 48. 6 times 2, I will get 12. And if I'm going to get the total of 48 and 12, I will get 60. Well, therefore, there are 6 birds and 12 dogs in the pet store. Well, if you have another tools or another strategies in order to answer this problem, you may do so, or you may try. Okay? Next, I have here another problem. And this problem is this. You take 6 steps forward and 8 steps backward. How many steps forward or backward are you from your original position? Well, in this one, I think I'm going to use a number line to show or for you to visualize how to answer this problem. Aside from the number line, you can also use other type or other tools or other strategies in answering this. Okay, so we have the number line. It says you are going to move 6 steps forward. So when we say 6 steps forward, it's equivalent to positive 6. And then it also said you are going to have 8 steps backward, and 8 steps backwards means negative 8. So starting from positive 6, you are going to leap 8 times, and you will drop on negative 2. So the answer is for 6 plus negative 8 is negative 2. Therefore, you are 2 steps backward from your original position. Well, what have you noticed with our first problem? Well, they are non-routine problems. Next, how about this one? Can you guess what type of problem, or is this a routine or a non-routine problem? Let's look. Okay, so this is our problem. A submarine hovers at 240 meters below sea level. If it descends, when we say descends, it's the other term for goes down or going down. So it descends 160 meters, and then ascend means goes up or going up. It ascends 390 meters. So what is its new position? Okay, so in this problem, you will already notice the words used, which are the below sea level, descends, and ascend. It will help us in answering our problem. Okay, so we are going to use here the steps in answering a word problem. Do you still remember that? Well, I know you do. So let's answer this. So the first one is we need to understand our problem. We need to know what are the questions and what are the given in our problem. So we have the question in our problem is we are going to find out the final location of the submarine hovers. And to determine the given in the problem, so the locations are 240 meters below sea level, 160 meters descend, and 390 meters ascend. So those are the locations of our submarine. Next, after we know the questions and the given, we are going to proceed with the third one, which is the operation to be used and formulate or constructing your number sentence. So in this problem, we are going to use the addition process or the operation of addition, and we are going to write our number sentence like this. So we have n is equivalent to, open and close parentheses, negative 240 meters plus, open and close parentheses, negative 160 meters plus positive 390 meters. Where did you get the sign, ma'am? Well, as I said a while ago, we can identify the sign of each number by referring to the from the words in our problem. Next, so since we are already familiar with the number sentence, we can proceed with the solution and the final answer. So we have n is equivalent to negative 40 plus negative 160. It will give us negative 400. Then negative 400 plus 390 will give us negative 10. Therefore, the final position of the submarine is negative 10. So, what do you think is this problem? Is it a routine or non-routine? Well, very good. This is an example of routine problem. Well, I think you are ready to answer the following problem, and I will let you use different kinds of strategies or tools that will give or will satisfy the answer in our problem. So here's the first problem. In a game, each team receives 3 points for each correct answer and loses 1 point for each incorrect answer. Kendrick's team answered 7 questions correctly and 4 questions incorrectly. What was the team's final score? So you have 45 seconds to answer this problem, and your timer starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's see. In this problem, I choose to use the tools or the blocks to represent or to visualize each number. So I have here 7 since they answered 7 questions correctly. And under this, I have 7 tiles which has 3 on it, which represents the scores or the points they get. And then I also have here 4 for the questions that are answered incorrectly. And I also have here 4 tiles or 4 boxes, which represents the number of points which they lose. So I'm going to get the total for the first one or the correct answers. We have 21, and for the incorrect, we have 4. Okay, so we are going to solve it. So we have 24 plus negative 4. It will give us positive 16. Therefore, Kendrick's team got a final score of 17 points. Well, if you got it also correct, using other strategies, well, it is also good thing. Okay, so let's proceed with the second problem. And here's our problem. Monica travels a lot. In one country that she visited, the temperature is around 23 degrees Celsius. The following month, she again travels to another country whose temperature is 34 degrees Celsius. How many degrees Celsius is the difference in the two temperature? And your 45 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So let's see. In this problem, we are going to use the steps in answering a word problem. And for the step 1, we need to understand the problem. We need to know what is asked in our problem. And our answer for that is, how many degrees Celsius is the difference of the two temperature? Next, for the step 2, we are going to get or to determine the given in the problem. And the temperature or the answer for that is, the temperature on the first country was 23 degrees Celsius in the morning, and the temperature in the second country was 34 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. So this is our given. Next, after that, we are going to determine the operation to be used. So since it is said that we need to find out the difference, we are going to use subtraction as the operation. Step 4, we are going to construct the number sentence. So we have open and close parentheses 23 degrees Celsius minus open and close parentheses 34 degrees Celsius is equivalent to N. And we are going to solve for step 5. So we have negative, N is equivalent to 23 degrees Celsius minus 34 degrees Celsius. So since it is subtraction, following the rules of subtraction of integers, there's a changes in our operation. And the sign of your subtract. So we have 33 degrees Celsius plus negative 34 degrees Celsius. So we have N is equivalent to negative 11. Well, I think you got it also correct. And I think you are familiar with this type of steps and strategies and tools. But I want you still to remember that whenever a problem needs to be solved, remember that there are different ways, different approaches, different strategies, different tools in solving, and use the appropriate strategies and tools. Before I end, I would like you to give this quotation. Math teaches us that in every problem, there is always a way, a solution. So let's have your questions. You can type it in on our comment box, and we are going to choose questions to be answered. And I'm going to answer this one. So it says here, how are you going to, or how do you know what operations you're going to use? Well, you are going to look for the words which gives a clue to find out what operation you're going to use. Like on our first problem, it says we are going to find the difference. Well, if it's difference, it is eventually a subtraction operation. And also, ma'am, how about how do we know the sign of a number? Well, you just need to look for the words beside that number. Like, for example, the first one we have, or the previous problems, it says there below sea level, meaning it is a negative. And it says also ascend, which is similar with going down or going up, sorry, or goes up, meaning it is a positive number. Well, I think you have lots of questions, but your subject teacher will happily answer those. So thank you so much for listening. I would like to remind you to stay safe and God bless us